I've told you this story before, but to me, this is still is a lesson in transformation for me. And this was a family member who had just been very challenging in our lives, thought we were evil devils. I mean, we were just awful, and we're calling us, Paul and I, what's the one, who was it? I was Jezebel, and he was Ahab. Dumb Ahab and me conniving Jezebel. I never realized how awful Jezebel was till I looked her up in the Bible. She's nothing to be liked, And I kept thinking, this is so unfair, it is so unjust, blah, 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 that went on in my mind, and how angry and upset I was. And I realized real quick that did not bring me any peace. And it made me angry about the person, and it made me feel guilty about myself. It made me, just all around. We didn't feel good. And I kept saying, help me, Holy Spirit, help me, Holy Spirit. And one day I was really willing, and I said, help me, Holy Spirit. And you know what? I got such a practical answer. I saw the image of this person, and it was a picture I had taken of him with Jeffrey, and it was such a beautiful, it was the most beautiful look on his face. Jeffrey, when he was 18 months, hugging him around his neck, and he had this beautiful glowing look on his face. And that is the image that I see whenever I think of this person. This beautiful person holding this child with such a look of innocence and joy. And I thought to myself, this is the focus I need to have now. This. And to me, that was such a practical answer, because unless I shift my perception, he can never change. I can never release him from the prison house that he has placed himself in unless I change, unless I see the truth in him. And that's the same idea here. We have forgotten the Son whom you created, whether it be the judgment we hold against ourselves or the judgment we hold against another. We need to hold the truth for them. And that is a hard thing for me to do. It is a hard thing for all of us to do. But when we are the ones doing it ourselves, it is extremely hard. When the Holy Spirit is doing it for us, it is extremely easy. Because every time I think of this person, that's the image I see of him. Now, that does not mean I don't want to wander into the shadow of the valley of death, and hold on to some, and go test the waters of my angry thinking again. But every time I do, I am reminded of that image. And that saves me. That's my life preserver. That lifts me out of my judgments, because it helps me to remember who I am by remembering who they are. I can't get there without them. And if I am holding judgment against my brother, then I'm holding it against myself. Now, that does not mean I have to like what they say about me. It does not mean that I have to agree with what they say about me. But I do have to love them. That's what I am asked to do. And so, to me, when this says, we have forgotten the Son whom you created, it is time for us to awaken to that truth, not only for ourselves, but for everybody else. So, he will answer us if we are willing. So that's number one. I have forgotten the Son whom you created. Number two, now we see that darkness is our own imagining, and light is there for us to look upon. Now, to me, this answers again that whole idea of darkness is our own imagining. Where does darkness come from? Where does this idea of illusion come from? The Course clearly says we made a mistake to think that we could be separate from God. Now, you say, well, it's one mistake. What's perpetuated? Well, the perpetuation has come in the judgments that we have. And the perpetuation comes in where our focus is. 99% of the time, our focus is not on this moment. Our focus is usually on the past, or it's on the future. This process of being in this moment where all of our answers are answered is not a place we dwell very often. And that is a big issue for us. That's a huge issue for us. And the section we've been talking about in the special relationship, the main focus of the perpetuation of the special relationships is that they dwell in the past. They're all about the past. If you think of special relationships, they're based on the past because of something that's missing in you, that you want in them, or something that's missing in them that they want in you. So it's always based on lack, and lack always has its basis in the past, not in the now. Because in the now, if we were to be in this moment now, we would have everything we need. And very rarely throughout the day are we ever feeling like we have everything we need. We're always feeling something is missing. Anytime we're into that mode, we're basically living most of the time in the past and in the future. Like I said, if we were in the now right now, we'd be healed. But that's not where we live most of the time.